Daddy?
On this video, we will talk about attribute effects, boss resistance, and boss attack elements. Let's start with attribute effect first. Here are the 6 elements attribute. As you can see, fire, shock, and poison deals mixed attack, while cold, light, and dark are more into debuff. But personally, I think debuff is more useful because the damage from those attributes are close to nothing. And here are the other attributes. There is nothing much to say because they are mostly came from the boss. Maybe cold, light, and dark based class will be popular in the future. Let's review it again when they comes. Now let's move on to boss resistance. But first thing first, I need to explain about how to read the information quickly. Number 1 is the map the boss located, 2 full body picture, 3 the boss name, and 4 their elemental resistance. The orange color indicates their strength, green for their weakness, and yellow is for neutral. Boar King and Grim Howl has the exact same resistance, strong on everything but fire and poison. River Snail is weak against shock damage and strong against cold and dark damage. Both Mandragora and Elven Mandragora is weak against fire, while strong against poison and dark. Both Medusa and Electric Slime has dark attack as their weakness, but Medusa also slightly weak against poison. Snapclaw is weak against cold and light, while strong against everything else. I don't know much about the golden Snapclaw, but we can assume that he has the same attributes as normal Snapclaw. Skeleton King is weak against light and strong against dark and poison. Sandworm is weak against fire and poison, and strong against everything else, while Anubis has no weakness, and is slightly strong against fire, poison, light, and dark. Archknight is strong against everything but shock and poison, while Black Archknight only has light as his weakness, and strong against dark. For Archmage, he is strong against fire, cold, and shock while slightly weak against poison, light, and dark. For Triumvirate, each of the balls has their own strength and weakness, based on their skin colors. Fire weak against cold, cold weak against shock, and shock weak against dark. Goblin High Priest only has cold as his weakness, and strong against poison. For Buccaneer Captain, he is weak against shock and poison but strong at everything else. Both Ember Dragon and Alpha Yeti can be guessed easily. Dragon weak against cold, and Yeti weak against shock. Zulon is weak against poison and slightly weak against cold, but really strong against light. For C69, he is weak against cold and dark, but strong against fire and poison. And lastly, Barklin is strong against both dark and poison, and only has slight weakness against fire and light. And here I already sort them based on their weaknesses. From here, you can see which bosses are weak against your main element. And based on statistic, poison has the most potential, with 8 bosses. This is the last segment, boss attack attributes. I did some experiments, and each boss has several attack variations with different attributes. It could also be completely different from their resistance. Let's check them out one by one. Boar King has non-attribute damage on all of his attack. And Grim Howl is the same. River Snail mostly deals non-attribute damage, except one cold-based spitting attack. Mandragora mostly deals poison damage, except one non-attribute attack from its tentacle. Elven Mandragora has more attack variations. It can shoot dark laser and wind donut. For Medusa, every attack variation deals shock damage, her including her arrows. This big red balls mostly deals non-attribute damage, but you will get shock damage if you are getting near him. All of Snapclaw's attack variations deals non-attribute damage. All of Skeleton King's attack variations also deals dark damage, including his sword slash. Sandworm's strongest attack deals non-attribute damage. But he has dark aura around him and can spit poison balls. Anubis deals light and dark damage, but his strongest attack is non-attribute damage. Archknight only deals non-attribute damage. And so does Black Archknight. Basically Archmage deals every attributes except for light and dark. These balls deals an element damage based on their skin color. Goblin High Priest deals fire damage most of the time, but his strongest attack is non-attribute damage. Buccaneer Captain only deals a non-attribute damage. Ember Dragon deals fire damage most of the time, except for his physical attack. And the same goes to Alpha Yeti. And so does Zulon. For this robot, it deals non-attribute damage except for his homing missile. And lastly, Barkalin deals dark damage most of the time and giving debuff. Sometimes, the boss also has an extra elemental damage buff, while the last one is more about a speed buff. So, what should we do about all this information? Well, you can prepare better when climbing Valkyrie by using different equipment, exploiting their weakness, or decreasing their damage and debuff chance with Alchemist Juice. For non-attribute damage, you can use either dodge or block juice. And that's it for the video. I hope I'm not missing something about the information. If you have more information to add, please share them in the comments section. By the way, I'm Professor XXX from Mutant Academy. So, do you know that I could peep and control your mind?
Subscribe.